Well guys, here it is, the last countdown of 2018. Let's make it a good one. So we all know that crossovers are a huge staple in video games. Marvel vs. Capcom, Super Smash Bros., Shonen Jump Force coming out later next year, you name it. But sometimes we get a little hint of a crossover in some video games. That one special character that makes us go, wait, what the hell are they doing here? Now, these aren't necessarily going to be based on how out of place or well fitted into the game they feel, more of how much of an impact it made on the game itself for players. So, now for the rules. Only one guest per game series, only games I've played can be on this list. If the character happens to have guest starred in more than one game, I'll only count one appearance in a game, not all of their guest appearances as one entry. So say if, for example, a certain character happens to guest star in multiple games, only one of their appearances can be on the list.
Kept you waiting, huh?
This is Crow of Murder 15's top 10 guest characters in video games.
And for one night only, please.
Okay, real talk. Does anyone actually remember this game? Let alone that it had a sequel? No? Just me? Okay. Well anyway, Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2 was a zany, goofy boxing game that was similar to Punch-Out! By which I mean a majority of the characters were a stereotype of the country they were from. But in the midst of all these characters raised one pop icon. Rumble! I don't know why or how, but it's pretty funny watching the King of Pop blast you out of the ring and then doing his famous lean like it was nothing.
With this groove, I can't lose. Hey, I got into this game for a real match. And for one night only, please.
I promise this will be the last obscure game on this list, but you have to admit, the Clayfighter series had a certain charm to its zaniness. Granted, the series only had 4 games in its franchise, the first installment on the Nintendo 64 had a unique guest, Earthworm Jim. Now, where Clayfighter was developed by Interplay, it's easy to see how Earthworm Jim could fit into this game. Honestly, though, I wouldn't mind seeing some sort of remake for this game, and if so, could we please get the Lost Vikings as guests? Maybe? Nah, piss on you guys too. Though most of the time fighting games are the main target for guest characters, sometimes you get other genres of games to have guest people, such as the Tony Hawk series. These games have been home to some of the most hilarious guest cameos, dropping in on those half pipes and knocking out those kick flips.
How do you do, fellow kids?
You've got Spider-Man, Iron Man, Wolverine, Darth Maul, but the one that lands on this list is the demon himself, Gene Simmons. Fictional characters are cool, but when you see a real person cameo in a game, there's just something magical about it. Not to mention there's an entire level in Underground where you have Kiss perform live on stage. Just don't let Peter or Lois know.
I wanna rock and roll all night
and have a wonderful time. Is that it?
BlazBlue is one of those fighting game series that you normally wouldn't see in a crossover because what other fighting game series would you pair with it? I mean, besides Guilty Gear, which should totally happen. And where one of these series is technically part of the crossover, I might be bending the rules just a little, but at the same time, we've never seen this character in a fighting game before, let alone as a guest character. Ruby Rose. Now, it's true that all 4 members of Team Ruby are in this game, so I might be a little biased with this pick considering that I cosplay as Crow, and well, Ruby's the closest thing we got to Crow. The art style of the Arc System games works really well, and I have to say Ruby is a fantastic fit with this style of game. Let's just hope that she doesn't annoy Ragna too much.
Wow! Oh, your weapon looks so cool! Can I take a look at it?
Do that later, just get away.
Number 6 on this list is a tie because you technically can't have one of these characters without the other. Mortal Kombat started having guest characters around the time of the remake. Then we were introduced to some horrifying additions, including number 6 on this list, the Alien and the Predator. Both character models look absolutely amazing and somehow fit in the realm of Mortal Kombat. Also, for those that don't know, the alien you play as is technically a hybrid of a Xenomorph and Baraka, hence why one of the variations includes the arm blades. Pretty sneaky, NetherRealms. Also, the references to these characters are great to see, such as Baraicho calling the Predator one ugly mother. So, who will we see in Mortal Kombat 11? Well, good old Ed Boon has been teasing Spawn, but we'll have to wait and see.
You should be down on your knees thanking me for not killing you where you stand.
Normally when it comes to Bandai Namco games, Soul Calibur is the game known for its guests. Don't worry, we'll get to that one later. That doesn't mean that other games from this company haven't dipped their hands in the guest character cookie jar. Tekken 7 was the first game in the series to really let the guests in. Yes, technically there was Gon in Tekken 3, but nobody knows where he actually came from. So, there was Akuma from Street Fighter, who is broken as hell, Geese Howard from the King of Fighters series, and then out of the frickin' blue, Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. Now at first glance, Noctis seems like a weird pick where he uses weapons rather than martial arts and would be better suited for Soul Calibur. But honestly, he plays great. True, his warp attack can be a little cheap at times, but he's a personal favorite. And for those curious about what my opinion is on Negan being in this game as a guest character, well, we'll have to see when he becomes playable.
Pissing our pants yet?
I know the hype for Killer Instinct has died down since it was first released, but we've got to come back to this game for a guest character. Since this game was an Xbox One exclusive, Rare had access to Xbox One exclusive characters like General Rom from Gears of War, the Arbiter from Halo, but I don't think anyone was prepared when Rash from Battletoads busted in. Sure, his cartoony style of combat looks like it would be better suited for something like Smash Brothers, wink wink Nintendo, but it's good to see the Toads back in the spotlight a little. Now if only we could get a new game.
Yes! 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 And for one night only, please.
While we're on the topic of Nintendo, everyone was freaking out over the inclusion of Solid Snake and Sonic during Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Well, fast forward a little and there were many more guest characters to come, such as Mega Man and Ryu, but I don't think anyone saw this one coming. Everyone collectively lost their minds when Cloud was announced, and who could blame them? You have one of the most iconic JRPG characters in one of the most well-known fighting games. At this point, it felt like anything was possible in Smash. And now with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate announcing Joker from Persona 5 as its first DLC character? What's next, Banjo-Kazooie? Make it happen, Nintendo, please, 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 please! Injustice 2 had a slew of guest characters similar to Mortal Kombat XL. Of course they had Sub-Zero and Raiden because of NetherRealm Studios, and Hellboy? Okay, that's cool. And who? Oh, of course it's Melina, another frickin' more.
Now that looks like fun. Mind if we play?
I feel like this was similar to the Cloud reveal for Smash Bros. Although I will say the fake out where people thought it was going to be Melina was brilliant. So you got not only one, but all 4 Ninja Turtles to play as. Well, not at the same time per se. You were able to pick which turtle to fight as by changing the unique item slot to the weapon of the turtle you wanted. Or you could just pick which one you wanted in versus mode. Now, since there's 4 turtles, and if I technically had to pick only one that was my favorite, I would have to go with Leonardo because of his playstyle. Of course, my personal favorite ever is Raph, because who doesn't like Rob Paulson?
I was Raphael, Turtle Power Dude, on the original show. People don't know that I was also the entertainment at the Last Supper. I've been around for a long time.
Now this is the king of games when it comes to guest characters. One of Soul Calibur's main selling points is who's going to be the guest star in the next game. So, who's going to take number 1? You have Yoda and Darth Vader from 4, Ezio from 5, Geralt and 2B from 6, but I think the number 1 spot is going to go to one of the first guest characters in this series. Now yes, we also had Heihachi and Spawn, but seriously, anytime the subject of Soul Calibur 2 comes up, everyone talks about the GameCube version because it had Link. But not only Link, but access to various weapons aside from the Master Sword, including the Great Fairy Sword from Majora's Mask. And sure, his vocabulary is lacking, but when you're the main reason a game sells so well, then you know you've done something right. And that's why Link in Soul Calibur 2 is my number 1 guest character. I'm CrowMurder15, and thank you for joining me on all of my countdowns in 2018. Here's looking forward to 2019. See you then, folks. Hey guys, this is CrowMurder15. Thank you so much for checking out this top 10 countdown. If you want to see more, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to get updates on all the latest videos. And make sure to take some time to check out my Let's Play show, Game Bros. Thanks again guys, and we'll see you next time.